and at some point, most of us feel called to volunteer, but in what way exactly and how often?
Well, Sean Giggy introduces us to a woman who has taken what it means to serve to a whole new level. Here's today's Giggy Bites.
From here, the Women's Center at Texas Health HEB may not appear to be heaven.
Good morning.
Until you meet the angel at the front door.
How are you?
81-year-old Harriet Walker has been working here 16 years.
I have lots of fun.
As the front desk volunteer, Harriet's job twice a week is to greet patients, pick up phones, and answer questions.
You have a good day.
Which she did for a while, until she realized she could do more.
Yeah.
12 years ago, while sitting at the desk, Harriet began crocheting.
The fun began after.
Soon after, Harriet started making hats for every single baby born in this hospital.
It takes a lot of yarn.
Harriet estimates over the past 12 years, she's made more than 14,000 hats for babies. The staff here says, in reality, she's made nearly 25,000.
And we talk a lot about compassion and caring, and that's who she is.
Harriet has even made hats for cancer patients.
You ought to see their faces when I walk in the room to give it to them.
Most of it comes at her own expense, even if it's painful.
My thumb will hurt. It's worth it. It's worth it. You're doing something that you love.
When I asked Harriet why she chooses to do this, she had just one word.
Love.
Because she knows all too well the opposite. Harriet was born in Greece, and in 1941, her country was invaded by Germany. By the time the Nazis left 4 years later, Greece was in shambles. That's why, after moving to America a few years later, she vowed to always show love.
Oh, yes.
And it has never been more appreciated than with these hats.
I don't know that we'll ever replace Harriet when she decides to stop doing that.
I'll probably do it in heaven when I get to go home too, if they can use hats up there.
Whether heaven needs hats or not, they'll definitely welcome such a warm heart.
Did you get a hat for the baby?
Sean Giggy, Channel 8 News Daybreak.
All right, I'm starting to sound like I'm one-track minded, but I have to bring up the Mr. Rogers documentary again because that's what he says. He says it's all about love or the lack of it. And I've been wondering since I watched that documentary, where are the Mr. Rogers of our day today? Where are they residing?
Well, we've got one of them. She's just not on television.
That's
I think,
right.
But we're putting her on television so that you can be inspired by that. I think it's important, too, to note that we don't all have the same skill set. So, you know, something that she does that perhaps you can't do, you've got something else that you can use.
Right, it's about figuring out what your calling is, right? How can you contribute to someone's life in a meaningful way?
We want to put more Mr. Rogers on TV, so you can share an inspiring story with Sean. Go ahead, send him an email. We got to get him out there at giggybites@wfa.com.